Welcome, DJ. So this session will be for technology and data analytics leadership career track. So DJ is our career champion and has many years of industry experience. So welcome, DJ. I'll pass the floor to you. Would you like to share your presentation yourself?
I will. I'll welcome everyone. Thank you all for being here. I hope you're enjoying. Someone's going to have to make me a host. And just a little bit about myself. As I mentioned, I actually began my career as an industrial designer, designing all sorts of products. And then after an MBA at some school across the country that I'm not allowed to mention, I got into a year and a half at Procter & Gamble, which was fabulous consumer packaged goods, and then broke into the high-tech industry. And I had most of my career, about 30 years in the high-tech industry, which really has sort of formed the basis of my expertise in tech and analytics. And if you do not think that there's a cost associated with a long and successful career in the high-tech industry, I did not choose this aerodynamic haircut. I didn't lose my hair. I used it up in the high-tech industry. And you too, after a long, successful career, ultimately can have a beautiful haircut like mine. My career began, as I said, in industrial design. I was designed some quite well-known hockey equipment that was used in the movies as well as in hockey. If any of you have seen the old movie Tron, you'll see a lot of my hockey helmets there. One of the first to be using actual pure CAD CAM straight from CAD. So got into computer hardware with a small company called ATI Technologies that grew to be about almost $4 billion acquisition for AMD. And again, fabulous time. Then got into the movie industry with computer software, creating some of your favorite movie characters, including Titanic and Yoda and all sorts of characters out there in your favorite games through EA. They were using our software. Then actually started my own company entrepreneurially here in Vancouver, focused on maintenance training for mechanics. So we're not simulating aircraft, we're simulating how to fix aircraft. And we did quite successfully with that. We were the first Canadian company to be invited onto the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program. I've done some online gambling through office pools. It has been a real adventure, a whole bunch of other things. I retired in around 2015 and then was pulled into solder, and I've been teaching here since 2016 full time. We're introducing the tech and analytics track. And it's not as much about the deep dive into the actual technology or the analytics. It is that L that's important, the leadership of these types of businesses. That's what we're really focused on. Does that relieve you from having to have an understanding about technology and analytics? No, you need to be able to speak the language to talk the talk, but do you have to be a coder or a hardware designer or a deep dive on data? No, you need to have a broad understanding of it, but we're very focused in the TAL track on the leadership associated and to give you the skills to actually change and lead this evolving bleeding edge technology, as we call it, okay? So we're very much focused on setting you up for leadership roles. And I'm very focused on that, the leadership roles within the industry. We want you to be able to lead. We want you to be able to consult with changing technologies and stay on top of things. We want you to deepen your skills and understand, obviously, a very important aspect of this, which is the analytics. Data is hard to come by in technology. There is a fair amount of it in the more established businesses, but if you are going to be leading a development process of disruptive technologies, you need to be comfortable in managing within an ambiguous type of situation. All right, so we're going to teach you about this. In order to do well in this, again, we want you to, there are 4 required modules here, and then a series of electives that you can do. And again, we have some specialized electives to help you focus in on that tech and analytics. You must take Introduction to Data Visualization. We believe that data visualization and a big data understanding is a core part of what we do. In the days when I began, we were mining our own data. And now, again, we want to be able to see trends, see opportunities. Core course that I teach is technology product management. And this is specific to the tools and to the mindset and the requirements needed to be a product manager within a company. I refer to product management as the executive track, all right? In some sense, product managers are mini CEOs within companies. And so ultimately, they are great candidates to rise up through an organization because by default, they have to act like CEOs. They are coordinating with sales. They are coordinating with marketing. They're coordinating with engineering. They're talking to the customers. They're talking to the channel. And so this underlying skill, this base, I think it's the only product management course that I know of. There are a few things that talk about brand, but most product managers don't come from a degree of product management. And so we want to give everyone a basis of that. There's also business development, and product management is very much oriented towards connecting with customers. So understanding how sales works is critically important. Okay. And almost everyone who's teaching, certainly the technology product management and the business development, you know, there's a lot of business experience associated with this. So we are definitively focused in on the tools and the theories, but we're also trying to make this as practical as possible. Okay. You also need to take at least 1.5 credit module from a list of recommended TAL electives. There are a ton of electives out there. A lot of people will load up actually on a lot of our electives, but ultimately these are specialized courses specific for the TAL track. And every one of them involves local industry experts teaching these courses. So AI commercialization is actually taught by Olivia Norton, who's one of the founders of Sanctuary AI, focused on robotics and artificial intelligence. Our health and technology is taught by a wonderful individual who is actually a health and technology venture capitalist. And so she brings a wealth of information of what it takes to ultimately manage these companies. She sees a ton of this. We also have a course specific to fintech management, and this will build upon some potential courses that you might take in finance, which are teaching you a little bit about the technologies that are becoming more pervasive in the financial industry. Nat Cartwright, who is a founder of a local fintech company, has done a great job creating a course very focused on the management of fintech. In fact, she actually helped some of our graduates who went through that course now actually get jobs for the summer. So she's very well connected and very interested in students and their well-being. And a new course that we will see in the next little while is the business of blockchain. I mean, we're all very clear about the capital aspect of blockchain, but now we're getting into NFTs and a whole bunch of companies now looking at potentially voting, insurance, all sorts of other industries that may come along relating to that. So the business of blockchain is definitely a bit of a blue ocean opportunity. All right. We have a bunch of other electives. Paul's already talked to tech entrepreneurship. I've been the course administrator for tech entrepreneurship for the last 5 years. And again, while I am focused in the tech and analytics track, I have a fair amount of expertise and a series of colleagues that I work with in tech entrepreneurship. Again, there are some new courses coming down the pike about technology and finance, venture capital, new product development. Actually, Tim just joined us. That's his baby. And he'll talk a bit about that. You know, so ultimately some other electives from some of the other tracks to help you round out. Now, you may ask yourself, well, why would I take tech entrepreneurship if I am going to be interested in tech product management? Well, again, a lot of the expertise that you will gain in terms of new product concepts, you will gain in tech entrepreneurship. You will also get some amazing experience working with engineers. And so again, well-rounded approach to your experience here at Sauder will certainly help you. All right. In terms of the program, the summer experience options, obviously you may get a paid internship at a local tech company. And we have a lot of tech companies, both small and large here, although it may not only just be in Vancouver, it could be anywhere. Or you may choose to take the summer off and to focus some time into an area that you're truly interested in. So instead of working for someone else, I want to spend the summer studying blockchain. I've been really interested in blockchain and I want to do my own independent analysis in the summer about blockchain, or I want to start a company about blockchain. You can do that, right? You can absolutely do that during our summer months, okay? Now, in terms of careers, obviously tech and analytics leadership is oriented towards data and leadership. Product management is probably the big one. And we're joined by Tim, who co-teaches this course with me, the tech product management, and project and program management, a big part. This is where, instead of being a broad view in the technology space, we may boil it down to more of a managing a release of a product. You're working very closely with engineers. Corporate development is the opportunity to look for synergies between other companies and perhaps see mergers and acquisitions happen between those. Business development is the selling side. And while some of us love to hate sales, it is actually a remarkably lucrative and a remarkably flexible career. And again, I know some great people who've done exceptionally well in that area. And I've actually practiced in all those areas, okay? Clearly, data science is becoming huge, and we know quite a few people who have gotten into big data, machine learning, the analysis, the reporting, corporate strategy, and simulation. We have a number of graduates who have gone off to Amazon, who are focused, who are at Google, who are focused, and so that business analytics, translation, market research, and consulting, and many, many more that come out of this, all right? Where are they now? Well, I wish I could tell you a long story like Paul Cubbin did, but we just started this program. Our first graduates who went through with us are graduating this year. And so we do not have a long list of individuals who've gone through here. But what I can say is I can give you examples. We, as Tim and I, as part of our tech product management, have invited some guests who have gone down a similar path. And these are all people who have worked with me as product managers in my past. Anil Sabarwal is currently in Australia, but he began with me as an intern and then became a product manager. I actually hired him into a new company as a product manager, and he grew. He's now a senior VP at Google. All right, it says VP, but he's now a senior VP, and he's doing a ton of stuff. Aaron Davey was probably one of the best product managers I've ever had. He was incredibly succinct. He was incredibly objective. He's gone on to found several companies and ultimately has had the knowledge based on his technology product management experience to be able to do it all within small and medium-sized companies. We brought him in. I was on an advisory board of a local tech company. We brought him in as the parachuted in CEO. And again, he began in a very simple product management role, right? Heather Alexson began as a product manager and ultimately is now one of the senior people at Microsoft here, but she was a junior product manager working in my organization. I can tell you the stories of a number of individuals who began in marketing or product management. One good friend, I won't name him because he doesn't want to be named, but he is basically running the big data initiatives at Rogers right now in Toronto. So huge, lots of good stuff. And this could ultimately be you. So, tech, and one of the questions we get is about the overlap. What is the what is the difference between tech entrepreneurship, tech product management, and PSM? Well, I'm not going to steal any thunder from Tim because he's going to tell you about it, but we're all very supportive of the fact that there are overlaps in skills, but we're very focused on specific industries and stage of the business development at this point. Okay. So that brings me to a close to my formal presentation. I ran through that super quick so that hopefully we can get some questions.
Thanks, DJ, for the amazing presentation. There are actually quite a bit questions for you in the Q&A box.
Okay, I'm looking. I see 7. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So Isabel asks, how much of a STEM background do you need to succeed in the TAL track? And again, this is not about your ability to be able to execute, but eventually, moving into a business. When I first went into the hardware business, I didn't know anything about computer chips or whatnot, but I knew a lot about business. I knew a lot about bringing products to market. So it was that skill that got me the job, but it doesn't relieve you from the need to eventually understand what's going on. You're going to need to eventually be able to talk the talk and walk the walk with the engineers, with the customers and whatnot. So companies typically will give you a bit of a honeymoon as you come up to speed, but you're going in there really to be a manager of a process and less to be into the great detail. And you will develop that expertise, that being able to talk the talk. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. Is this career track a compulsory to in this career track? Is it compulsory to know a specific type of software? No. Once again, the greater learning that you're going to get is when you get into industry. We're going to provide you some generic overview of the various elements that you will likely need, components that you will need. So in analytics, here's the languages, here are some typical tools that are there, but every company has its own lineup of the various tools that they use. They maybe even develop custom tools on the analytics side. They understand that as they would like you to have certainly a grasp of the vernacular, but are they expecting you to know specific software? Probably not. You will be learning some specific software. And in fact, in data visualization, you'll be learning to do some Python coding as well. So we do give you a bit of a base at this point. What are the different technologies taught? And how will we get the opportunity to implement these technologies to support business? Once again, we are less into the details of the technology. We're giving you a flavor of the leadership of said technologies. So if you take the FinTech course, you will definitely get an overview of the technologies that run rampant within that industry, but we're very focused on the leadership issues that you are going to face along the way. Same thing with blockchain. We're going to give you a broad overview of this. If you take the tech entrepreneurship course as an elective to this, you will again be getting into a broad array of technical details. You're going to be paired up with some engineers and some AppSci students, and you'll be building prototypes. So you will get a total flavor of that. Okay. Do I recommend any prep work that can be done prior to starting the MBA in order to be successful in data visualization? Be a voracious reader. Knowing the trends that are out there, being able to come in as in tech product management, one of the things that we do is we tell people to become industry experts in their field. We want you to ultimately become an evangelist or a leader within a company as a tech product manager. So I would suggest the same coming in. If there's a specific area that you are interested in, voraciously read about the trends, the disruptive technology that's coming down, that is changing at the companies that are leading the charge on this. Here in Vancouver, we have some amazing, we have quantum computing company here, D-Wave just went public. We have some of the most amazing robotics and AI happening. I think that that it's pretty cool stuff. Okay. Is Sauder a member of Blockchain Research Institute? I don't know what Sauder situation is, but UBC has some deep ties. We have the blockchain group here, and we do have some of our MIS people, and a number of people here are heavily involved in blockchain research that occurs. So I would, is it a member? I can't answer that, unfortunately. How would you recommend we prepare for a specialization in tech and data analytics at UBC if we're coming from a non-tech background? So again, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. I would begin, if you want to be in technology, you need to begin to get yourself into technology, to understand the various trends that are occurring, to watch what's happening in terms of disruptive technology that's changing our world. And I feel so left out now. I used to be on the cusp of all the leading stuff, and I come here to Sauder, and again, I get to see some cool stuff coming out of the university, but I can't say I'm as on top of things as I used to be. So you can still do this. Again, voracious reading, getting, there's some great videos of stuff that's coming down on YouTube. Definitely go that direction. So recurring theme happening here, can individuals with a non-technical background? I was non-technical getting into tech, okay? My first job was in brand management on Cascade. That was my first brand management job. There is very little technical, at least in the sense that you're thinking about Cascade. It's actually quite an impressive chemical formulation, but not in the way you would think about it. So I absolutely do believe that you can come in with a non-technical background and grasp the key concepts that are coming across here. The technical courses, while they will challenge you, they are again oriented towards leadership, okay? Not necessarily a deep dive on technology. So understanding it, knowing what it's about, knowing how to manage it, but not necessarily asking you to get down and to do some deep coding or some hardware development on a product, okay? Let's see. Caroline says, when you say tech in the context of TAL, is this focused more on software and data? Is there any usefulness for someone to be interested in hard tech? Totally. I mean, tech is tech, right? Software we see a lot of because it's easy, it's pervasive, it's everywhere, right? But hardware has shaped a lot of what we're doing. The fact that we're actually on here and having this discussion is about hardware. All right. Software has nothing to do with it. The chips that are running our computers now, the graphics cards for your games, in our day, that didn't exist. So, they go hand in hand. And so if you have interest in hardware, you can pursue that as well. All right. Do you need a lot of skills in Python or R, other data? Interesting you bring that up. In your data visualization, you will be taught some of that. So no, you do not need a lot of skills. We're going to provide you some stuff. Doesn't hurt for you to begin to immerse yourself, and feel free to do so. But again, we don't want you to feel intimidated by that word tech. If you are interested to ultimately be part of a tech wave in the future, right, this is the perfect time to get into it. All right. Let's see. Why would tech companies hire a business person instead of training an engineer who can lead? I'm assuming that means lead a business. I almost am dying to have Tim answer this.
And I'll jump in, baby.
Go for it, Tim, because I know this has come up in one of our courses.
So this is for everyone's benefit. I ran all the focus groups with employers, with our alumni, and DJ keeps on saying the message over again, but I'll reiterate. MBAs are for people that come from all of these different backgrounds and want to move into business. And what the employers will tell you is when we hire engineers, and not to offend anyone out there, because I'm sure many of you are engineers, they are not great at communicating to management. So guys, what DJ's saying is you don't need to have a technical background. when you're entering this program, the technology that you'll be working with when you graduate may be in a starting point of its half-life. We're going to teach you the best practices and frameworks on how to break markets down and how to identify needs in the market. So you don't have to have a technical background. You don't have to program or know Python or know R. You are going to be the liaison between tech teams and senior management. That's what we're training you to be. Okay.
Yep. And so the key element here is, don't get caught on the thing that product management is about talking to engineers. It's not. That's part of it, but it's talking to customers. It's talking to the salespeople. It's coordinating with management. It may involve establishing channel, distribution. There are a whole bunch of skills that fall under this product management element. And so the people skills are critical. And so it's not to say that an engineer cannot, can't graduate to that. And again, I've had one or two amazing engineers who have become great product managers. But again, you got to be comfortable with the fact that it's not just about managing the product development process. It is about much, much more than that. Okay. I think we probably have time for one more question. So I apologize to the rest of you. And like Paul, if there are questions that I did not get the chance to answer, maybe Tina can gather them and I can pick away at them with some general.
Sure.
So
let's, DJ, can we finish with your session with the last question? It's easy to, hopefully it's easy for you to answer. Which book would you recommend?
Which book would I recommend? I've got a whole shelf of books here. I'm very keen on, there was a book, it's very weird. Well, Good to Great was a fun book to read because it gave you perspective of things that we're aiming for. But I'm also looking, there was what was it called? A Good Hard Kick in the Ass. And it's very much about product management mentality and corporate development and whatnot. So there are so many books. Maybe if you, Tina, if you can include that question, I will expand. I'll go through my library and have a look. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thanks so much, DJ. Great session again, and thanks for your time today. And you actually get a lot of questions done today, so thanks to that. But we still have some questions left, so I will make sure I record them and send your way.